Have you ever wondered if there are places on Earth so strange that they challenge everything we think we know about reality? Across the planet, landscapes appear in forms that seem impossible, shaped by time, water, wind, and forces far beyond human control. Some rise from the ocean, like monuments sculpted by nature itself, while others stretch across deserts, mountains, and valleys, hidden for centuries. These locations blur the line between what is real and what feels imagined, reminding us of the planet's immense power and unpredictability. Welcome to Strangest Places, the most unbelievable locations on Earth, where reality slowly begins to feel unreal. Umnak Island in the Aleutian Islands of Alaska, United States, is an unusually strange place due to the combination of massive, free-roaming feral cattle, rare geological activity, and an extremely harsh climate that has earned it the nickname Cradle of Storms. In the past, humans brought cattle to the island for ranching. However, because of severe weather conditions and extremely high transportation costs, the ranch was shut down and the cattle were abandoned, never taken back. These cattle are not afraid of humans and do not respect them, sometimes creating tense situations for explorers. This is a birthplace of storms caused by the collision between cold and warm ocean currents, combined with constantly changing atmospheric pressure. Severe weather makes access to the island extremely difficult, with aircraft frequently unable to land and forced to turn back. Reflection Canyon is a remote branch of Lake Powell in Utah, known for its smooth S-shaped curve, surrounded by towering red-orange Navajo sandstone cliffs rising hundreds of feet. Before the Glen Canyon Dam was built in the 1960s, this area was a deep, dry canyon and only transformed into a fjord-like landscape after being completely submerged by reservoir water. What seems unbelievable is that the iconic shape of Reflection Canyon is not a natural formation, but a direct result of a man-made structure altering the flow of the Colorado River. With no marked trails or signs, hikers must rely on Navajo Mountain on the horizon as the only natural navigation reference across a maze of fossilized rock. This is considered one of the most extreme routes in the American Southwest because visitors must carry about 2.5 gallons of water for an overnight trip, while the lake below cannot be accessed from the cliff tops. In the 1980s, the Earth First group once dropped a black plastic strip about 300 feet long from the dam to create the image of a massive crack in protest against its existence. Dejawatan is a surreal Trembesi forest in Indonesia, home to over 800 massive trees aged between 100 and 300 years, with canopy arches and aerial roots forming one of the planet's rarest ecosystems. These rain trees can sleep by folding their leaves at night or during rainfall, transforming the entire forest from a dense green curtain into skeletal giants within minutes, an unbelievable sight unless witnessed firsthand. Despite its primeval appearance, all trees were planted in perfectly straight rows at regular intervals, indicating intentional human intervention with unknown purpose centuries ago. One military theory suggests the forest once served as a Dutch colonial weapons depot, camouflaged beneath thick canopy layers to evade aerial detection. At the entrance, remnants of an old railway line used by the steam train Sepur Klutuk still remain, once transporting timber and minerals from the forest to the port. Few realize that during colonial times, this remote jungle operated its own independent electrical grid dedicated to logging and rail transport, something nearly impossible to believe for such an isolated region.
Las Gachas es una maravilla geológica en las montañas de Santander, donde más de 250 cavidades circulares naturales fueron talladas directamente en la roca roja por el agua corriente, creando bañeras de hidromasaje dispersas a lo largo del cauce. Las leyendas locales susurran sobre pozos sin fondo donde antiguos guerreros encontraron refugio estratégico y realizaron rituales sagrados ofreciendo dones a las corrientes que giran en lo profundo de la tierra. Cuesta creer que la superficie rocosa aquí sea tan resbaladiza como la mantequilla, obligando a los visitantes a usar calcetines en lugar de calzado acuático convencional para mantener algo de tracción al recorrer el arroyo. Aunque el agua parece sorprendentemente poco profunda, estas cuencas naturales poseen una profundidad engañosa de hasta 3 metros, lo que permite a los viajeros lanzarse o deslizarse hacia las pozas ocultas desde arriba. Este vivo tono carmesí no proviene de plantas acuáticas, sino que emana de los minerales presentes en la propia piedra, visibles únicamente cuando una capa de agua cristalina los recubre. Para preservar la pureza absoluta de este ecosistema sensible, las autoridades locales prohíben estrictamente el uso de protector solar, jabón o cualquier loción antes de entrar en estas aguas ancestrales.
Haisupok Lake on Pelling Island is a geological sinkhole where the water becomes nearly invisible, forming a massive glass-like surface tens of feet thick that defies visual detection. Although its local name means black water, the lake glows in vibrant turquoise due to light reflecting off pure mineral crystals at the bottom rather than algae or moss. Fallen centuries-old trees inside the lake do not decay. Instead, they undergo mineralization, turning into natural sculptures frozen in time. Hidden deep within the rainforest, this brackish lake is fed by underground seawater veins passing through limestone formations, creating a miniature ocean inland. Around the lake, there are small lizards with vibrant blue tails, and the color of their tails almost perfectly matches the water's hue. Remarkably, some travelers discovered this hidden gem entirely through planning with ChatGPT, bypassing traditional maps, search engines, or guidebooks. Catski Pillar in Georgia is a vertical limestone monolith rising about 130 feet above the forest, hosting the most isolated church in the world, known as the Tower of Hermits. For over 20 years, the monk Maxime lived entirely on the summit without touching the ground, turning the narrow platform into a form of voluntary confinement for religious asceticism. When it was rediscovered in 1944, researchers found not only church ruins, but also an ancient human skeleton inside a stone chamber, indicating medieval hermits died there without returning to the surface. The summit, only a few square yards wide, contains a church, wine cellar, and sleeping room. And the unbelievable fact is that all construction materials were transported manually with no modern machinery. Although monk Maxime has since moved down to live in a monastery at the pillar's base due to old age, the light atop the column still shines every night as younger monks take turns climbing the deadly ladder to check the church or light a candle. The site also enforces a strict ban on women for over 1,000 years, and to this day, no woman is permitted to touch the metal ladder leading to the top. The Bay of Fundy in Canada is the most powerful tidal system on Earth, with a water level difference reaching about 52 feet, equivalent to a 5-story building submerged and revealed within hours. Every 12 hours, approximately 160 billion tons of seawater are pulled in and pushed out of the bay, exceeding the combined flow of all freshwater rivers on Earth. The speed and pressure of the current are strong enough to reverse the direction of major rivers, creating backward waterfalls and whirlpools capable of destroying steel structures. During tidal energy projects between 2024 and 2025, multiple massive turbines were broken and left on the sea floor. This phenomenon is considered almost unbelievable because even modern marine technology cannot safely recover steel machines weighing thousands of tons from constantly moving water. One rare event occurs here in the form of races across the ocean floor, where the ground can vanish and turn back into deep ocean within minutes. Lake Baikal is the oldest and deepest freshwater lake on Earth, with a volume so massive that even if all the world's rivers flowed into it, it would still take exactly 1 year to fill the basin. The total water stored in Baikal equals the combined volume of the 5 largest lakes in North America, and in a global freshwater collapse scenario, it could supply all humanity for 40 years. The most unbelievable phenomenon occurs in winter, when methane bubbles are trapped inside crystal-clear ice, and if a small hole is drilled and ignited, the escaping gas bursts into open flame. At times, mysterious ice circles up to 2.5 miles wide appear on the frozen surface, so large they are only clearly visible from space. The lake is also home to the Golomyanka fish, nearly transparent and composed of up to 40% fat, capable of melting into oil and bones when exposed to sunlight. Local legends claim that 3,500 tons of Russian imperial gold sank to the bottom during the Civil War and still lies somewhere within the deep abyss. Manpupuna stands towering on the flat plateau of the remote Ural Mountains like a structure built by extraterrestrials. It is a complex of 7 massive stone pillars, ranging from about 98 to 138 feet tall, comparable to 10 to 14-story buildings, rising straight into the sky. Strangely, 6 pillars cluster closely together on the mountain peak, as if in discussion, while the 7th stands completely apart in the distance, creating the impression of a solitary observer. Not only does it deceive the eye, Manpupuna also deceives the ear, as visitors who press their ears against the rock often hear mysterious murmuring sounds echoing from within, due to wind passing through cracks, leading locals to believe the pillars are truly talking to each other. But the greatest mystery lies in a spiritual curse, as legend says that if one touches the stone pillar and makes a wish, the wish will come true. Yet this miracle works only for women, turning the site into a strange spiritual destination for seeking good fortune. If you want to know what it feels like to set foot on the Moon or Mars without leaving Earth, Campo de Piedra Pómez is exactly that place. On Mars, wind is the main force reshaping the planet's surface because there is no flowing water, and the same process occurs at Campo de Piedra Pómez. Wind moves through soft pumice rock, carving it into forms that are never seen in landscapes with forests or seas. Normally, wind only creates small sand ripples in deserts, but here, strong and stable winds over thousands of years have formed waves up to 7.5 feet high and spaced up to 141 feet apart, which solidified into stone columns resembling frozen, distorted waves. You are walking through a massive stone field, yet the material forming it feels surprisingly lightweight, almost feather-light. Hoover Dam is not only a colossal concrete marvel that held the record for the largest man-made structure in the world when it was completed, but also a time fortress designed to last and operate longer than the Egyptian pyramids. This was the first construction site where workers used hard hats, initially self-made by soaking fabric hats in tar to create a tough shell to protect their heads from falling rocks. If the entire amount of concrete in the dam had been poured as a single block, engineers estimated it would have taken over a century for the heat to dissipate, and the structure could crack under its own weight. This area is cursed by the eerie deaths of the Tierney father and son, where the father perished on the first day of the site survey, and exactly 13 years later, the son was the final victim. Beneath Lake Mead lies a submerged ghost town, and the wreckage of a B-29 bomber from the Cold War still rests at the bottom of the water, creating a mysterious and haunting atmosphere right under the feet of visitors. Known as the Forge of the Earth's Soul, Mount Chimaira stands as a legendary landscape where natural fires have burned relentlessly for over 2,500 years without any human intervention. It is truly unbelievable that these gas vents ignite spontaneously even at low temperatures because the rock contains ruthenium, one of the world's rarest metals, acting as a permanent catalyst. Deep within the strata, a geological transformation creates a temporary spring with a pH level of nearly 12, possessing a caustic alkalinity equivalent to heavy-duty industrial cleaners. Many historians believe this flaming summit is the true birthplace of the Olympic torch, inspired by ancient messengers who carried the sacred fire of Hephaestus down from the peaks. According to myth, these flames are the fiery breath of the monster Chimera, defeated by the hero Bellerophon, and buried forever beneath the deep rock fissures. The sight of visitors casually grilling sausages and brewing tea over the monster's breath is both humorous and staggering, leaves first-time witnesses in complete disbelief. Ojos de Mar in Tola Grande, Salta Province, Argentina, is truly a strange location in terms of geography, biology, and formation history. It is called a window into early Earth, as the environment here has high ultraviolet radiation, extreme salinity, and arsenic, recreating conditions of Earth billions of years ago. Despite being deep inland, the salinity of these lakes is extremely high, about 4 to 5 times that of normal seawater. The source water is originally fresh water from surrounding mountains, but as it flows through layers of salt and volcanic minerals, it becomes extremely saline. When visiting this place, remember to protect yourself carefully and apply sunscreen because it experiences the highest levels of solar radiation in the world. Located at an elevation of about 11,500 feet, the atmosphere here is very thin, combined with low cloud cover, which significantly reduces the ability to block solar radiation. Gaoyiling is a national 4A scenic area in Chenzhou, known for its pristine Danxia landform with forest coverage reaching 95% and an extreme contrast between bright red cliffs and emerald green lakes. At its core lies the Dragon's Backbone, a narrow rock ridge about 980 feet long, with vertical drops on both sides, where visitors must walk along exposed stone with almost no protective barriers. What seems unbelievable is that this entire landscape was once an industrial waste dumping site for coal ash and thermal plant wastewater in the early 21st century, before being transformed into a vivid ecological terrain. Deep inside the area is Giant Lizard Lake, where mineral deposits create a surreal turquoise color, and the lake's shape resembles a massive reptile crawling between mountain folds. Nearby Daobeishan features ridges only about 1 foot wide between two deep abysses, ranking among the most dangerous hiking routes in the world. The name Gaoyiling originates from a legend of the immortal Tieguai Li throwing his tall chair onto the land, and what feels even more impossible is how a mythical story aligns with one of modern China's most dramatic environmental recoveries. In 2022, in a forgotten limestone region of Guangxi, China, explorers stumbled upon a colossal gateway leading to a world Earth seemed to have hidden for millions of years. Dachau Tiankeng is a sinkhole nearly 650 feet deep, able to swallow a skyscraper and still leave room for an ancient primeval forest to thrive at its base. Inside lies a complex network of high-flow underground rivers that took explorers 10 years and 7 expeditions to partially map and connect. What sets Dachau apart are 40-foot-tall trees growing in shadow, pushing upward as if the underworld itself were trying to reclaim the sky. Three massive cave mouths slice through the cliff face marks left by ancient subterranean rivers that once chewed through the planet from within. And while scientists still debate between water erosion or meteor impact as its origin, Dachau remains an unanswered rupture in human understanding. Vatnajökull Glacier stands as the most massive ice structure in Europe, covering roughly 8% of Iceland's land mass, with an average thickness of nearly 1,300 feet. Unlike common white snow, the caves here contain ancient crystal-clear ice that filters the entire light spectrum, leaving behind a pure sapphire blue that is almost impossible to find elsewhere in nature. It is truly hard to believe that directly beneath this eternal ice sheet lie boiling lakes heated by geothermal energy, where temperatures can surge from 32 degrees to 212 degrees Fahrenheit in just a matter of seconds. Deep within the blue ice, dark bands of volcanic ash form intricate striped patterns, remnants trapped from eruptions that occurred thousands of years ago. These frozen sanctuaries are never permanent. They vanish during the summer thaw and refreeze in winter, driven by a continuous cycle of planetary rebirth. Because of this constant metamorphosis, every year the old caves disappear entirely and new ones emerge with different forms, ensuring that no traveler can ever step into the same ice cave twice in their lifetime. Føroya, also known as Namafjall, is one of Iceland's most active geothermal fields, containing titanium concentrations up to 12 times higher than typical Earth rocks. The mud pools erupt continuously, launching liquid clay into the air and gradually forming mini volcanic cones reaching up to 5 feet in height. Many violently hissing steam vents that appear natural are actually sealed geothermal drill holes deliberately covered with rocks to create visual illusions of spontaneous activity. What seems almost impossible is that hematite spheres and jarosite minerals found here match the same soil signatures detected by NASA rovers on Mars. The sulfur odor is so intense that it not only clings to clothing, but infiltrates hotel hot water systems, making escape from the site's chemical presence virtually impossible. Unbelievably, this area was once regarded by ancient Icelanders as a real-world hell, where criminals were rumored to be thrown into boiling mud pits as public punishment. Mount Asgard, in the Canadian Arctic, is an exceptionally rare geological marvel, with two cylindrical granite towers rising over 6,600 feet, their flat summits appearing as if cut by a blade. Although it looks like a stadium from afar, the summit is actually a hazardous boulder maze, where winds are strong enough to blow away gear in seconds. Asgard's vertical cliffs form a sheer drop over 3,300 feet, with no protruding ledges, making it one of the most dangerous base jumping sites on Earth. During Arctic summer, the midnight sun causes the granite towers to shift colors non-stop, from gray to gold to deep purple for 24 hours, transforming the peak into a glowing prism in the ice. Incredibly, classic climbing routes are disappearing as melting permafrost destabilizes the rock structure. Recent expeditions have named new routes with bizarre titles like "Never Laugh at Live Dragons," warning of rockfalls triggered by climate change. Cueva de los Verdes is part of a lava tube system formed by Monte Corona volcano about 5,000 years ago, including the Atlantis Tunnel, recognized as the longest underwater lava tube in the world, with a length of about 1 mile. What seems unbelievable is that this entire tunnel was not carved by humans, but created solely by cooling and draining lava, leaving behind a massive hollow structure stable for thousands of years. The cave's name has no relation to color, and instead comes from the Verdes family, shepherds who once used the cave system as shelter for livestock. Ball's Pyramid is the tallest volcanic stack in the world, rising from 562 to 572 meters, extending straight from the Pacific Ocean and taller than its own width. This stone spire is the last remnant of a massive shield volcano that was submerged in the Zealandia continent about 7 million years ago. It is also the last refuge of the tree lobster, a giant insect thought to be extinct since 1920, until only 24 individuals were found in 2001. Geologists believe the absence of talus below the spire is a result of a massive tsunami that swept across the Tasman Sea around 1500. The summit was first conquered in 1965 by a group of climbers from Sydney who had to train rigorously to avoid fierce waves and sharks. Though access is now banned to protect the area, an illegal climbing group in 2014 accidentally provided valuable data that revealed the food sources of the rare stick insects that are much more diverse than initially predicted. Loktak is the largest freshwater lake in northeast India, located about 25 miles south of the city of Imphal in Manipur state. What makes Loktak unique is the floating islands drifting on the water surface, known locally as Fumdi. Seen from above, you notice green grass patches, but in reality, this is only 20% of the surface, while the remaining 80% of Fumdi lies below the water, similar to drifting icebergs in Greenland. The lake is the only place on Earth where you can find the Sangai deer, also called the dancing deer, because when moving across the unstable and shaking Fumdi surface, the deer must bounce to maintain balance, appearing to dance. In 1951, this species was once thought to have disappeared forever, but it was later rediscovered and conserved, and its population has now increased to more than 200 individuals. Bisti/Denazin Wilderness is located in northwestern New Mexico in the United States, and is a remote wilderness famous for its strange other-planet landscapes and extremely fascinating geological history. Explorers have given the rock formations very vivid and interesting names, such as Alien Throne, Chocolate Penguin King, or Mushroom Seat. Which name do you think fits best? The stone pillars are formed by uneven erosion, as the softer white rock layer below is easily worn away by wind and rain, while the harder rock above acts like a protective hat, creating columns that look unstable and close to collapse. Because of differences in hardness between rock layers, with hard sandstone resting on soft clay, erosion creates thin stone wings that extend several feet into open space without breaking. The terrain here changes after every heavy rain because the clay is very soft. A rock structure you see today may completely disappear or become fully deformed after a single storm season. Bentonite Hills in Utah is regarded as the most accurate replica of Mars on Earth, with surreal waves of red, orange, and purple terrain stretching like an abstract painting. Up close, the ground appears swollen and puffy like popcorn caused by clay repeatedly absorbing and drying water over millions of years. This clay can expand several times its original size when wet. If you pour a bucket of water on dry soil, it begins to swell and transform right before your eyes, an almost unbelievable phenomenon without witnessing it. When saturated bentonite turns into a sticky gum-like substance that can trap tires or immobilize hikers instantly. Although the surface may look ordinary when dry for a brief 30-minute window after sunset known as blue hour, the entire landscape shifts to deep blues and purples, as if glowing. Thanks to this otherworldly appearance, Disney's sci-fi blockbuster John Carter used Bentonite Hills as a filming location for an alien planet. White Pocket is a bizarre geological oasis deep within the Paria Plateau where Navajo sandstone layers twist like frozen waves, eroded into forms that seem physically impossible. The striking white, cake frosting exterior is actually a result of ancient acidic groundwater leaching iron minerals, leaving behind a pure quartz crust. It is truly hard to believe that within these isolated pools, ancient tadpole shrimp can spontaneously revive after a rain from eggs that have laid dormant in the dry sand for years. However, this landscape masks a treacherous reality where even luxury vehicles can become hopelessly buried in knee-deep sand in just 15 minutes. They had to walk nearly 6 miles under the blazing sun to find help, and the recovery cost exceeded $1,500. A story now retold as a survival warning across Arizona's off-road community. The Anlong Pyramid is a limestone mountain cluster with near-perfect cone symmetry, layered so precisely it gives the appearance of a man-crafted structure. These layers are composed of dolomite sediment over 200 million years old, originally formed from minerals accumulating beneath an ancient sea floor. Its shape emerged through vertical erosion, intersecting with fault lines, carving deep grooves that resemble mortar seams, so improbable in appearance that early surveys speculated it might be alien in origin. The stone's surface alters its reflectivity depending on moisture levels, producing glowing effects or dramatic color shifts after rainfall. The Longtu region remains the only known habitat of the anlung frog, a species with distinctive scent glands that have never been recorded anywhere else on Earth. At the nearby Huangjing sinkhole, residents once lowered entire livestock herds by rope to graze isolated meadows, hidden far below the vertical cliffs. Shene Timpishka is the largest natural thermal river on Earth, a geological monster over 6 kilometers long, capable of maintaining near boiling temperatures without the presence of any volcanoes within a 600-kilometer radius. Imagine a river stretching 60 times the length of a football field, and the entire length is boiling water. Just touching the water for 1 second would instantly give you a full third-degree burn. Catatumbo lightning is a unique meteorological phenomenon at Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, occurring where the Catatumbo River flows into the largest lake in South America and recognized by Guinness as the place with the highest lightning density in the world. This phenomenon occurs frequently with about 28 lightning strikes per minute, totaling about 1.2 million to 1.6 million lightning discharges per year, concentrated at a single point on the lake surface. Most of the lightning here happens in total silence because the discharges occur at very high altitudes above 5,000 meters, preventing the sound from reaching the ground. Lightning tends to strike on schedule like a clock, with the first flashes beginning about 1 hour after sunset, nearly every night, and continuing for many hours. Lake Natron is the most alkaline water body on Earth, with a pH level reaching 12, a giant chemical bath capable of corroding flesh and turning dead animals into eternal limestone statues. This is the only place on Earth with a water formula almost identical to the natron salt used by ancient Egyptians to embalm the pharaohs. Though dubbed the Lake of Death, it is the largest maternity ward in the world for lesser flamingos, where they build nests on salt islands in waters near 140 degrees Fahrenheit to ward off predators. In 2013, the world was stunned by photos of birds and bats completely turned to stone, standing frozen like eerie statues on the lake's surface. Not only does it preserve animal carcasses, the petrified yard around the lake also holds more than 400 footprints of ancient humans from 19,000 years ago, making this place a stone photo album of human history never decomposed. Millions of years ago, the place where you are standing at Bojira was the floor of the vast ancient Tethys Ocean. The retreat of the sea left behind a barren landscape, exposing secrets that were meant to remain forever. Traces of that past are so visible that you do not need to dig to see history, as the past lies directly beneath your feet. Due to its special geological structure and minimal human impact, you can easily pick up massive ancient shark teeth, fossilized shells, and bones of prehistoric marine creatures scattered across the ground like ordinary gravel. The strangest visual symbol here is a pair of vertical limestone mountains, completely separated from the main cliff, known as Uktul Azu Tister, the Fangs. As soon as you set foot in Uralsky Mars, you feel as if you are traveling through space, because the landscape looks exactly like the surface of the red planet. However, this surreal scenery is not a masterpiece of nature, but a dazzling scar left behind by humans. In reality, this is an abandoned, former refractory clay mining site. The minerals within the clay, oxidized over time, have stained the entire land red, creating a vivid yet deadly color tone. The strangest highlight here is the scattered lakes tinted deep red or rusty brown, a frightening contrast to the clear blue color normally associated with water. As beautiful as they appear, these are sweet traps, and you must absolutely not touch them, let alone swim, because the water is actually a mixture of toxic substances accumulated from industrial mining processes, and the chemicals dissolved in it are extremely harmful to the human body and health. Gani Gorge in Armenia is considered so strange and surreal that many people at first glance believe it is an artificial structure or computer graphics. This strangeness is the result of lava cooling and contracting extremely quickly, causing the rock mass to fracture into symmetrical geometric patterns. Many stone columns appear to hang upside down or lean at sharp angles, creating the impression that they are defying gravity. Because of the perfection of these rock formations, many visitors who first saw videos of this place mistakenly thought they were images from video games such as Minecraft or Ark. The name Symphony of Stones not only describes the visual form, but also refers to the sound of the Azat River flowing through the gorge, resonating with the wind to create a natural musical space, inviting you to come and experience it yourself. On São Tomé Island, a remote destination belonging to one of the least visited countries in Africa, there is a little-known, strange mountain spire called Pico Cao Grande. This is a gigantic needle-shaped volcanic plug, and over millions of years, the softer outer volcanic cone was eroded away, leaving only this hard rock core standing alone. The rock surface is extremely slippery because very heavy rainfall keeps it constantly wet and covered with thick layers of mold, moss, and lichen. Carefully consider the decision to conquer this mountain, as even professional climbing teams have faced many difficulties while attempting it, including snake bites or equipment failure caused by extreme humidity. They describe this place as one of the most hostile climbing environments on Earth. Valle de las Animas is known for its massive natural stone pillars rising dozens of feet into the sky, forming a dense stone forest whose structure is considered hard to believe for a landscape created entirely by erosion. When strong winds pass through thousands of narrow and sharp rock channels, they generate acoustic vibrations that produce whistling sounds recorded within the frequency range of the human voice. A European sound researcher once used ultra-sensitive recording equipment to analyze wind spectra and found repeated oscillation patterns with near-regular structures. Some rock pillars reach heights of nearly 200 feet, comparable to a 20-story building made entirely of compacted clay and fragmented stone. The high-altitude air system allows the Andean condor, the largest flying bird in the world, to routinely exploit thermal currents above the sharp peaks. During a single recent rainy season, several smaller pillars collapsed completely, turning the entire valley into a rapidly degrading geological landscape. Rio Tinto River in Spain is one of the harshest natural acidic environments on Earth, with a pH ranging only from 1.7 to 2.5, similar to human stomach acid. The river's red color is not caused by industrial pollution, but by extremophile microbes that digest iron and bedrock through metal oxidation. NASA once deployed drilling equipment here to simulate biological conditions on Mars and Europa, where life may exist beneath the ice. Scientists discovered that Rio Tinto's water can fossilize wood samples or organic tissue within just a few weeks due to its extremely high mineral concentration. Incredibly, almost no birds or wild animals dare drink from or land near the river, as if they instinctively sense the scent of death from the acidic fumes. During the Roman Empire, this region was the main source of silver and copper in Europe, and some theories even claim it was the legendary King Solomon's mines mentioned in the Bible. Mount Chimera is the largest onshore source of natural abiotic methane, where eternal flames rise directly from rock and have burned continuously for over 2,500 years. Unlike most methane on Earth produced by biological decay, the gas here forms through a serpentinization reaction between seawater and iron-rich minerals several miles deep inside the Earth's crust. Global monitoring reports in 2025 confirm the site releases over 50 tons of methane per year, a figure that seems impossible for a system without any living organisms. The presence of the rare metal ruthenium in rock fractures acts as a catalyst, causing the gas to ignite instantly upon contact with oxygen at ambient temperature. Even when buried under soil, geological pressure forces the gas into adjacent cracks, maintaining a continuous network of flames similar to a natural ventilation system. In ancient belief, priests claimed the fire reacted to human lies, and even today, some locals remain silent before it as part of a spiritual code. Earth is a place where nature and the flow of time have worked together to create magnificent landscapes that stretch far beyond the limits of imagination. Some places on this planet are so beautiful that they make people feel as if they have stepped into a mythical story, where the boundary between reality and dream seems to fade away. From the deepest floors of the ocean to mountain peaks rising high into the clouds. From brightly glowing cities to quiet and peaceful countryside, this planet moves like a vast symphony written by earth, water, fire, and wind. Every land carries the mark of time, and every landscape awakens within people a constant urge to step beyond and explore the world. And right now, that journey begins with you, taking you to mysterious lands, still hidden somewhere on Earth, where the landscapes not only capture the eye, but also leave people standing in awe. Wulong Karst in China represents a grand geological paradox, where mountains collapse deep into the earth to create a subterranean world completely isolated from the human realm. This location possesses a unique trio of sky gates named the Three Natural Bridges, featuring natural stone arches nearly 1,000 feet tall, capable of housing a skyscraper. Sitting in isolation at the bottom of the valley is the Tianfu Outpost, an ancient wooden structure possessing a tragic beauty resembling a toy forgotten by a giant. The ecosystem here is isolated like a time capsule, preserving Jurassic vegetation, where moss and giant ferns develop according to their own distinct laws. To conquer this immense depth, visitors can utilize a giant glass elevator clinging to the vertical cliff face, offering a thrilling, controlled freefall experience. Castellfollit de la Roca is one of the narrowest villages in the world, with sections where the entire width of the settlement equals the length of a single house. The village stands on a solid basalt cliff, formed by two overlapping lava flows thousands of years ago, creating a rare continuous geological platform. Its total urban area is less than 1 square mile, and access is limited to a single road because sheer rock walls drop away on both sides. Most houses are built from local volcanic stone, producing a dark grey tone that blends with the exposed prismatic basalt columns along the cliff face. From the bell tower of Sant Salvador Church, the entire valley and the abrupt vertical drop to the river below are clearly visible. The village also hosts the Museu de l'Embouti, dedicated to traditional cured meats, linking a long culinary history to its distinctive volcanic foundation. In the heart of the frozen Kazakh steppe, a massive crystal tower rises like a powerful breath of the earth. The summit continuously releases fine water droplets that crystallize into delicate ice particles, creating a localized snowfall that accumulates around the base. During the harshest winters, the structure can reach approximately 46 feet in height, comparable to a 4-story building, formed entirely through repeated cycles of eruption and freezing without human intervention. Beneath its solid exterior lies a hollow core functioning as a natural conduit, allowing warmer groundwater to rise vertically and sustain the freezing process. However, this short-lived masterpiece will completely melt away when spring arrives, leaving behind a flat landscape as a poignant farewell from winter. Maijishan Grottos is a Buddhist complex built into a nearly vertical cliff, where more than 7,200 statues exist at a height comparable to a building over 40 stories above the ground. The entire site is carved into a solitary sandstone massif rising about 466 feet, with caves distributed from base to summit in a rare vertical arrangement resembling a suspended honeycomb. The Lingyun skywalks, constructed from wood and concrete, cling directly to the steep rock face and curve outward to connect the individual grottos into an elevated circulation network. On the east cliff, 3 monumental Buddha statues over 50 feet tall are carved in relief from the rock surface and have remained structurally intact for more than 1,600 years. Because the sandstone is too soft for detailed carving, ancient artisans modeled clay over wooden frames or stone cores, creating the largest and most intact collection of clay Buddhist sculpture in China. Mardalsfossen stands as one of the tallest waterfalls in Europe, with a total height of 2,149 feet, cascading into the Eikersdalen Valley like a colossal white ribbon. The tiered structure consists of two major drops, with the highest vertical fall measuring 974 feet, causing the water to almost vaporize into mist before reaching the bottom. However, this majestic beauty is actually controlled by human intervention, as the natural flow is regulated for hydroelectric power during most of the year. The sluice gates are only opened from June 20th to August 20th, transforming this site into a unique seasonal tourist landscape. The existence of the waterfall during summer is the direct result of a famous environmental protest in 1970, helping to maintain the precious humid ecosystem at the base of the sheer cliffs. Rising like a white pyramid from the void, Key Monastery is a magnificent intersection of unwavering human faith and the harsh beauty of the majestic Himalayas. Perched at an altitude of over 13,400 feet, this structure stands alone like an island in a cold desert with a unique fortress-like design built to withstand historical invasions. Stepping inside, visitors get lost in a mystical labyrinth of narrow corridors and dark rooms that house a 1,000-year-old art treasury of ancient murals and exquisite Thangka paintings. This site not only preserves rare handwritten manuscripts, but also serves as the most vital spiritual heart for the Gelugpa sect in the Spiti Valley. Amidst the profound silence, hundreds of monks continue to maintain an ascetic lifestyle, turning this place into an eternal symbol of scholarship and devotion within the windswept highlands. The Trans-Siberian Railway is the longest single continuous railway line in the world, stretching about 5,772 miles from Moscow to Vladivostok and covering nearly 1/4 of Earth's circumference. The line crosses 8 time zones, yet for decades all station schedules operated on Moscow time, creating a constant offset between local daylight and official railway clocks. A non-stop journey takes about 168 hours, equal to 7 days, turning distance into a measure of days rather than hours. The railway connects the vast Russian Far East with the rest of the country, forming the only year-round transcontinental land corridor capable of operating through severe winter conditions. Sludyanka, one station along the route, is the only railway station in the world constructed entirely from solid white marble as a tribute to the builders of the line. The Dolomites are not ordinary mountains, but fossilized remains of ancient coral reefs pushed from a tropical seabed to about 10,000 feet above sea level, turning the region into a suspended fossil beach. At every sunset, Dolomite rocks glow bright red like embers due to a unique reaction with magnesium minerals, gradually shifting to orange and deep purple as night falls. Unlike the massive Himalayas, the Dolomites shock the eye with vertical cliff walls that rise straight up from grassy meadows, creating extreme visual contrast. During World War I, soldiers carved tunnels and clung to these sheer rock faces, leaving behind the Via Ferrata system still used today. With a single ticket, visitors can ski non-stop across about 750 miles of snow trails using 450 ski lifts stretching through valleys and peaks. If the Earth had a massive hollow heart, containing a separate universe inside, that heartbeat would definitely be found at Sondung. This place features a cave passage so immense that it could easily fit a 40-story skyscraper, along with towering stalagmites over 260 feet tall that stand like pillars holding up the sky. The most surreal part is its own localized weather system where clouds and mist drift through the cavern, even creating rain deep underground, completely isolated from the world above. At the sinkholes where sunlight streams in, a lush tropical jungle called the Garden of Eden flourishes alongside baseball-sized cave pearls stacked like a giant's hidden treasure. With such breathtaking scale, this journey is actually harder to complete than climbing Mount Everest, making Sondung a truly one-of-a-kind experience for those seeking the ultimate wonders of nature. Take a deep breath to experience Mother Nature's massive kitchen at Averia, where the ground never rests and every inch of earth seethes with the planet's primal power. You will find yourself lost in an overwhelming symphony of steam, whistling through vents, and boiling mud bubbling beneath your feet, all set against a vivid geological palette of sulfur yellow and rusty red. Because the extreme acidity prevents any plants from growing, this land has become a desolate wasteland that possesses the magnificent beauty of an alien world. The uniqueness also lies in the constantly shifting landscape where gas vents can relocate overnight, making the very ground feel as if it is alive and moving. This surreal harshness and barren terrain served as the perfect training ground for Apollo astronauts before they embarked on their mission to conquer the Moon 238,000 miles away. There are places you must visit once in a lifetime, just to feel small before the magnitude of nature. And the Old Man of Store is exactly that kind of place. Created by the largest ancient landslide in British history, these jagged basalt spires have stood firm for millions of years to form a one-of-a-kind geological masterpiece in the Scottish Highlands. Rising about 164 feet high atop the hill, this stone tower served as a natural inland lighthouse for sailors navigating the eastern coast since ancient times. The scenery is a visual symphony where the dark stone contrasts sharply with lush green grass and white clouds that pour over the cliffs like aerial waterfalls. Interestingly, the wind whistling through the rocky crevices creates a haunting sound like the whispers of stone spirits, ensuring this site exudes a powerful and mystical aura, even in the harshest weather. Donan Castle is one of the most frequently used cinematic locations in Scotland. Featured in productions such as Highlander in 1986, James Bond, The World Is Not Enough in 1999, and Maid of Honor in 2008. The castle stands on a small island at the junction of three sea lochs, Loch Duich, Loch Long, and Loch Alsh, forming a position completely surrounded by water with a single land connection. Its isolated setting and curved stone arch bridge have turned it into a global visual symbol of Scottish tourism. The structure changes appearance with the tides, appearing as a floating mass at high water and revealing rock, mud, and seaweed foundations when the tide recedes. The 20th century reconstruction was directed by Farquhar McRae, who claimed he envisioned the complete design in a dream before historical drawings, later discovered in Edinburgh, confirmed a matching layout. The iconic arched bridge linking the mainland to the island was added in the 1930s to improve access and was not part of the original medieval construction. Antarctica records the lowest directly measured surface temperature on Earth at minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit at Vostok Station. These extreme conditions make it the only continent without permanent residents, without sovereign nations, without borders, and without any record of human settlement before the 19th century. Its ice sheet stores about 70% of the world's fresh water and 90% of its total ice. And if completely melted, global sea levels would rise by roughly 197 feet. The immense thickness of accumulated ice gives Antarctica the highest average elevation above sea level of all continents. At Taylor Glacier, a red-colored outflow known as Blood Falls emerges from iron-rich ancient brine trapped beneath the ice, which oxidizes upon contact with air and produces a rust-like appearance. During winter, surrounding sea ice expands to nearly double the size of the landmass itself, creating the largest seasonal territorial shift on the planet each year. The underground city of Nushabad is considered a defensive masterpiece of ancient Persia and one of the largest hand-carved subterranean urban systems ever discovered. This massive maze, spanning over 1.5 square miles, remained forgotten for 15 centuries until it was accidentally rediscovered in 2006, when a local resident was digging a sewage pipe beneath his home. To survive the brutal Mongol invasions of the 13th century, the ancients hand-dug nearly 60 feet deep into the earth to create ultra-narrow corridors filled with deadly pitfalls designed to bury any intruder. At these suffocating depths, ancient genius engineered a sophisticated U-shaped ventilation network that continuously pumped fresh oxygen to keep thousands of people alive. This was far more than a temporary bunker, serving as a complete living space equipped with food storage, natural freshwater wells, and the most advanced sanitation systems of that era. This incredible infrastructure allowed entire populations to remain hidden and thrive underground for many weeks at a time without ever needing to surface. Socotra Island ranks among the world's highest in endemic species density, with about 37% of plant species, 90% of reptile species, and 95% of snail species found nowhere else on Earth. Millions of years of geographic isolation under arid limestone terrain and minimal rainfall have produced plant forms uniquely adapted to fog moisture and extreme dryness. The most recognizable symbol is the dragon's blood tree, which releases dark red resin when cut, traditionally used as dye, varnish, and herbal medicine. Its dense umbrella-shaped canopy reduces evaporation and protects the root system, a direct survival response to semi-desert conditions. Climate change reducing fog frequency and extensive goat grazing have severely limited natural regeneration of young dragon's blood trees. To safeguard this fragile ecosystem, strict regulations prohibit bringing dogs onto the island and promote controlled camping on the Dixam Plateau instead of mass hotel development. The Amazon rainforest has the highest species density per unit area on Earth, and on average, one new species is documented every 2 days by scientists. It is home to the pink Amazon River dolphin, a freshwater mammal known for high intelligence and a central role in indigenous legends. The Amazon also contains the largest number of uncontacted tribes in the world, with several communities maintaining traditional lifestyles for thousands of years without interaction with modern society. At a depth of about 13,000 feet beneath the surface, researchers identified an underground flow called the Hamza River that runs parallel to the Amazon River, far wider but moving much more slowly. During the rainy season, water levels can rise by roughly 30 to 33 feet, transforming the forest into a flooded system where boats move between tree canopies instead of footpaths. Around 25% of modern pharmaceuticals originate from Amazon plants, yet less than 1% of its plant species have been fully studied, and the forest still accounts for more than half of the world's remaining tropical rainforest area. White Island is one of the very few places on Earth where the entire hydrothermal system of an active volcano is exposed directly at the surface. Only about 30% of the structure rises above sea level, while the remaining 70% of the volcano, measuring roughly 5,250 feet from the ocean floor, lies completely underwater. The crater lake can reach negative pH levels, stronger than battery acid, and capable of corroding metal and living tissue upon direct contact. The island surface is covered in grey ash and volcanic rock with almost no vegetation, yet bright yellow sulfur crystals contrast with white steam plumes and turquoise or milky grey acidic water. The eruption on December 9, 2019, which killed 22 people, permanently changed access regulations to the site. Today, because landing is prohibited, the only way to observe the active crater is by helicopter or small aircraft flying above it. Laguna Esmeralda is the most visited hiking route in the Ushuaia region, known for moderate difficulty that leads to a glacier-fed lake with a distinctive color in Tierra del Fuego. The lake is surrounded by Lenga and Coihue forests, whose trunks lean permanently under strong Antarctic winds blowing throughout the year. Its emerald color is not caused by algae, but by rock flour, ultra-fine mineral particles ground by glaciers and suspended in the water, scattering sunlight. In winter, the surface freezes completely and becomes snow-covered, allowing visitors to walk across while deep meltwater remains beneath the ice. Water from the lake does not flow directly to the sea, but filters through beaver dams and thick peat bogs, forming a natural purification system for the valley below. Schafberg holds the title as Austria's best panoramic viewpoint because its isolated position allows an unobstructed view of 13 lakes and the entire alpine chain from Berchtesgaden to to Dachstein within a single horizon. The mountain shows a dual geological structure with gentle southern meadows where the Kog Railway runs and a northern limestone cliff dropping more than 3,300 feet straight toward the lake. A climatic contrast frequently occurs when Lake Wolfgangsee remains sunny below, while the summit becomes engulfed in dense fog within minutes due to thermal differences and rising air currents. The railway opened in 1892 was built entirely by hand, with about 350 Italian workers and mule caravans completing over 6,000 supply trips up the slope. At the peak stands Hotel Schafbergspitze, operating since 1862, while the red train climbs using a dual-apt rack system that locks onto staggered gear rails and has become a technical icon of Austrian tourism. Eldraun holds the record as the largest lava field by volume, formed from a single documented eruption created during the Laki event in the 18th century. Its once black basalt surface is now entirely covered by a continuous layer of Rhacomitrium lanuginosum moss, forming one of the largest single-species moss ecosystems on volcanic rock. The moss shifts color with humidity, turning bright emerald after rain and fading to pale gray during extended dry periods. Rounded, fractured lava formations beneath the moss create uneven bulbous textures that from above resemble a vast field stretching toward the horizon. A single footprint can destroy the fragile moss structure and may require up to 100 years to fully recover, leaving a permanent dark scar on the green surface. Beneath the moss lies a network of more than 200 lava tubes and caves formed as the crust cooled, while molten rock continued flowing below. And the associated Modu Hardindin disaster killed roughly 1/5 of Iceland's population in the 18th century. Covering about 500 square miles, Skeiðarársundur is the largest glacial outwash plain on Earth, built from immense sediment loads descending from Vatnajökull. As the glacier retreated, the entire drainage system shifted westward into the Geographic River, leaving abandoned dry channels stretching across black sand fields. Meltwater does not form a single river, but divides into thousands of braided streams that weave across the dark surface and reflect intense sunlight. Instead of coastal erosion, Iceland's shoreline here is expanding as roughly 1 million tons of sediment each year continue pushing the coast outward into the Atlantic. Tsavo National Park is the largest protected conservation system in Kenya and ranks among the most extensive wildlife reserves in the world. It sustains the largest elephant population in the country, globally known as the red elephants of Tsavo, because iron-rich semi-arid soil coats their skin during dust bathing. The park is also home to the geranuk, an antelope capable of standing upright on its hind legs to reach high foliage, a rare behavior among antelope species. In 1898, two manless male lions near the Tsavo River killed approximately 135 railway workers during construction of the line across the region. Along its western boundary stretches the Yatta Plateau, recognized as an ancient lava flow extending about 180 miles, one of the longest of its kind on Earth. Tsavo contains the complete Big Five and presents a sharp contrast between the rugged volcanic terrain of Tsavo West and the flat, arid plains of Tsavo East within a single ecosystem. Molokai maintains a rhythm of life without traffic lights, without shopping centers, and without any building taller than a palm tree, preserving an original form of the aloha spirit. It has the highest proportion of residents with native Hawaiian ancestry in the archipelago, creating a tightly bonded community structure that actively preserves traditional culture. The island is geographically divided, with a dry and dusty western side of red earth and empty beaches, while Halawa Valley in the east supports a humid rainforest, where waterfalls descend from steep cliffs. On Nanahoa Hill stands a naturally formed phallic rock revered as a fertility symbol, where women seeking children bring offerings and stay overnight according to long-standing local belief. Papahaku Beach stretches for about 3 miles and often remains nearly empty, allowing a person to walk for hours without encountering another set of footprints. Even when coastal land is privately owned, state law guarantees that all shorelines and public access routes to the ocean remain open to everyone. Taranaki is the first mountain in New Zealand to be legally recognized as a legal person, holding rights over itself rather than being owned by the state or any individual. From satellite imagery, the boundary of the national park forms an almost perfect circle with a radius of about 6 miles, where dense native forest abruptly transitions into surrounding pasture land. Its symmetrical cone shape often leads visitors to underestimate the risk, yet it has the second highest fatality rate among mountains in New Zealand, because weather can shift from sunshine to snowstorm and freezing conditions within minutes. Vegetation on its slopes grows over decaying wood with intertwined roots and thick moss sustained by high rainfall and a consistently cool climate. Unlike peaks embedded within long mountain chains, Taranaki rises in isolation on a peninsula, creating unobstructed views from multiple directions. The mountain's geometric form dominates the regional landscape, and many roads and settlements in the Taranaki area are oriented toward its summit. Merapi is the most active and frequently erupting volcano among roughly 130 active volcanoes within the Indonesian Ring of Fire, with minor eruptions occurring every 2 to 3 years and major eruptions every 10 to 15 years. The volcano is globally known for its fast-moving pyroclastic flows, reaching temperatures of thousands of degrees Fahrenheit, forming the signature hazard associated with Merapi. Its landscape presents sharp contrast, with lush tropical forest nourished by mineral-rich ash on one side and long grey burn scars stretching from summit to base, where recent lava and hot clouds have swept through. Lava domes continuously form and collapse at the summit, altering the mountain's structure and preventing any long-term stability of its peak architecture. Merapi marks the northern point of the sacred Garis Imagina axis, aligning Tugu Monument, the Creighton Palace, and the Southern Sea, believed in Yogyakarta tradition to represent cosmic balance. Despite its destructive force, nutrient-rich volcanic ash supports productive salak orchards, and access to the slopes is commonly made by vintage Willys Jeeps, dating back to the wartime era. The Galapagos Islands became the first site ever inscribed as a UNESCO Natural World Heritage Site in 1978, marking the beginning of the modern global conservation system. The archipelago holds the highest level of endemism on Earth, with roughly 80% of land birds, 97% of reptiles, and 20% of marine species found nowhere else on the planet. The Northern Marine Zone records the greatest shark biomass density worldwide, especially large schools of hammerhead sharks moving through cold, nutrient-rich waters. It is the only place where the marine iguana dives to the ocean floor to graze algae and later expels excess salt through its nostrils to maintain osmotic balance. Due to the cold Humboldt Current, penguins survive directly on the equator, while red and olive-green beaches form from iron oxidation and volcanic olivine crystals. Strict regulations require visitors to remain at least 6 feet away from any wildlife, making it one of the most tightly protected ecosystems in the world. Kamchatka exists as a region almost completely isolated from the rest of Russia, with no road connection to the mainland, and access possible only by airplane or sea vessel. This isolation helps preserve one of the most violent geological systems on Earth, containing about 300 volcanoes, nearly 30 of which remain active. Continuous tectonic activity produces ash, lava, and newly formed terrain, giving the peninsula one of the highest volcano densities in the world. These extreme natural conditions also sustain more than 20,000 brown bears that gather along rivers during the salmon season, demonstrating an ecosystem with minimal human interference. Within this remote environment, the Valley of Geysers operates as the second largest geyser field on Earth, while black sand beaches formed from volcanic ash continue to define the peninsula's distinctive landscape. Lying isolated in the harsh Australian outback, the Wolf Creek crater appears as a massive scar embedded in the Earth for 120,000 years. The impact of this 50,000-ton iron meteorite unleashed energy equivalent to hundreds of atomic bombs, melting solid rock and shaking the entire continent. Thanks to the arid climate, it remains the second most well-preserved crater in the world, maintaining a perfectly circular shape nearly 3,000 feet wide. While science describes an object falling from space, local indigenous people revere this site as the spot where a mythical rainbow serpent emerged from the ground. Have you ever imagined a grand capitol built atop a 1,300-foot mountain peak that was completely leveled by hand thousands of years ago? Monte Alban in Mexico stands as such a wonder, where the ancient Zapotec people meticulously carved the rugged terrain to create massive stone plazas and terraces without the aid of metal tools or wheels. During its golden age, this city flourished as a vibrant multicultural metropolis with a population of 35,000 people living high among the clouds. However, life here was a constant struggle for survival because every drop of water had to be manually carried up from the deep valley floor to the mountain top. Landmanalauga is a forgotten, surreal masterpiece from prehistoric times, where mountains burn in eternal rainbow hues and the ground boils with the breath of geothermal heat. Not due to photo editing, the rhyolite mountains here truly possess unimaginable geological color bands like sulfur yellow or iron oxide red, blending together to create a visual effect like a giant oil painting melting under the sun. Right at the foot of the brilliant peaks lies the Laugahraun field with a frozen river of obsidian lava, creating a maximum contrast between a colorful paradise and a sharp, dark land of death. Nature continues to deceive travelers at Liotipolua Lake, where the name Ugly Puddle completely contradicts the beauty of a giant crater filled with turquoise water surrounded by red walls. However, this is merely a part-time wonder, because when winter arrives, thick snow and storms completely blockade the area, erasing all traces of humans and turning it back into an inaccessible, wild white land. Heid al-Jazil is not just a village, but a death-defying architectural masterpiece, a 500-year-old mud city perched with dramatic precision atop a solitary sandstone monument. The entire settlement reigns from over 330 feet high with 90-degree vertical cliffs, transforming it into a desolate island in the heart of Wadi Doan with no bridges to the outside world. It remains a profound human paradox, where 5-story towers built of nothing but mud and straw have survived for centuries by defying the fundamental laws of physics. While this treacherous terrain once served as an impregnable natural fortress, today it turns the village into a completely There are places on Earth so vast and magnificent that they are difficult to believe they are real. They are shaped by overwhelming natural forces, where the scale and power of the planet are great enough to submerge life, forcing every organism to adapt or disappear. Even within these harsh environments, a sense of spirituality remains present, woven into daily life, deep within forests, beneath the ground, and even across the ocean floor. These places do not belong to myth, imagination, or visual effects, but exist as genuine natural wonders of the physical world. This is a journey to the most magnificent places on Earth, locations so powerful that it is hard to believe they truly exist. Luquan 33 Turns is a short mountain road less than 2 miles long, yet it compresses 33 consecutive hairpin turns into that distance. On average, in less than 300 feet, drivers must turn the steering wheel nearly 180 degrees, making movement along the road continuous with no pause. The turns are stacked vertically and placed so closely together that many older GPS systems cannot accurately determine which level of the road a vehicle is on, and often report incorrect positions. Many drivers report entering a unique psychological state while driving here, as if repeating the same motion inside an endless spatial loop. This characteristic has turned the road into a dream destination for drift enthusiasts and large displacement motorcycle riders seeking to test steering control at the highest limits. Because of the difficult terrain and relatively low traffic volume, the surrounding environment remains quiet, creating a sharp contrast between the aggressive geometry of the road and the calm of the surrounding mountains. Tanah Toraja is a place where entire communities calmly live alongside the dead as part of everyday life. The deceased are preserved with formaldehyde, kept inside the home, and cared for daily with food, water, and even cigarettes for months or years until the family can afford a funeral. For the Torah people, a lifetime of work may be devoted solely to preparing the Rambu Solo ceremony, because only a grand funeral is believed to allow the soul to reach the afterlife known as Puya. Every few years, usually around August, families exhume the dried remains of their ancestors, clean them, groom their hair, dress them in new clothes, and take family photos as an act of ancestral connection. In this society, buffalo are not farming animals, but symbols of status, and a rare albino Tadong Saleko can cost tens of thousands of US dollars, exceeding the value of many luxury automobiles on the market. In front of traditional houses with layered curved roofs, stacks of buffalo horns hanging on the facade serve as a living record of how many animals were sacrificed in the funerals of each lineage. Qiantang River is one of the very few rivers on Earth where tidal water can surge upstream with force far beyond normal expectations. Instead of flowing calmly toward the sea, tides from the East China Sea are funneled inland by a narrowing estuary, forming powerful walls of water that race against the river current. The interaction between tidal phases and river geometry produces layered surface ripples that align into scale-like patterns, moving continuously across the water. The energy of the tidal bore is strong enough to sweep people into the river within seconds, even in areas equipped with embankments and warning systems. Recorded continuously for over 2,000 years since the Han Dynasty, the Qiantang River is regarded as the most powerful and consistently observed tidal bore phenomenon on the planet. Xingtai Shai winding road, when seen from above, looks like a violently twisted ribbon draped across the mountainside, formed by a stacked sequence of sharp curves and steep gradients. This steepness allows pine and cypress forests to grow horizontally out of near-vertical cliffs, creating a suspended ecosystem clinging to the slope with rare density. Although the road itself is not long, the density of turns is extremely high, forcing drivers to rotate the steering wheel continuously within a short time and producing a sense of motion with no pause. The most distinctive feature lies in the near 180-degree U-shaped turns placed closely together along a short section, demanding absolute concentration and precise steering control. On certain continuously winding slopes, drivers often experience a gravity illusion, feeling as if the vehicle is descending while it is actually climbing, because the sheer rock walls running parallel to the road completely deceive visual perception. The island of the Dolls is closely associated with Don Julian Santana Barrera, who lived in isolation and spent nearly 50 years collecting thousands of dolls and hanging them from tree branches across the island. He believed this act could appease the spirit of a young girl who drowned near the island, whom he thought continued to wander the area. Most of the dolls were gathered from trash sites or traded for produce with people traveling through the canals, then hung on chenampas trees instead of fruit. Over time, sun, rain, and humidity caused the dolls to decay, grow mold, and become covered in spider webs, creating a dark scene with hundreds of doll parts dangling overhead. Many visitors and locals claim they have seen dolls open their eyes, turn their heads, or heard faint whispers in the darkness, although no scientific evidence confirms these experiences. Sensitive individuals often describe a heavy and oppressive feeling when standing on the island, as if being watched by thousands of lifeless gazers. The story became even more unsettling in the year 2001, when Don Julian was found dead from a heart attack at the exact spot where he had always said the girl drowned years earlier. Today, visitors often bring new dolls, candy or candles, and place them on the trees as a way to show respect and seek peace for both the girl's spirit and the caretaker who devoted his life to the island. Sunken Cemetery is unlike any land-based graveyard, as it is a complete burial complex located entirely beneath the surface of the sea. When diving down, divers can see tombstones covered in coral, arranged in clear rows like a submerged city of the dead. Unusually, coral grows rapidly across the surfaces of the headstones, but avoids certain areas, leaving dark gaps that run through the cemetery and resemble pathways between graves. Surrounding the tombstones are coral formations of irregular shapes, forming a marine ecosystem that has developed directly on top of the submerged cemetery. To mark the location, a large cross has been erected in the open ocean, visible from afar above the water's surface. During surveys, many divers have reported small bubbles continuously escaping from cracks in the seabed, scientifically explained as geological gases, though for local residents, They remain tied to memories of the disaster that sank the entire burial ground. The catacombs of Paris are the largest underground cemetery in the world, holding the remains of more than 6 million people, a number that even exceeds the current population of Paris. At the entrance to the official section, visitors encounter the inscription, "Stop. This is the Empire of Death," marking a psychological boundary beyond which the world of the living ends. The catacombs were created in the late 18th century, not for religious reasons, but to solve a severe public health crisis when surface cemeteries, especially Les Innocents, became so overcrowded that decomposing bodies polluted the air and water. Over many years, millions of skeletons were secretly transferred underground at night in black-covered horse-drawn carts to avoid public panic and opposition from the church. Rather than chaotic piles, the bones were deliberately arranged into walls of femurs and tibias, with skulls forming crosses and heart patterns, while the entire tunnel network stretches over nearly 200 miles, of which only about 1 to 1.2 miles are open to visitors due to safety and collapse risks. Lumiang Cave opens with a striking scene where more than 100 ancient pinewood coffins are stacked tightly from the cave floor up to the ceiling. These coffins have remained here for over 500 years and have not fully decomposed, forming a dense burial wall directly at the cave entrance. The lids of many coffins are carved with lizard figures, animals regarded as symbols of protection and guidance for the soul into the afterlife. Many coffins are unusually small, about 3 feet long, not intended for children, but reflecting the ancient Igorot belief that humans should leave the world in a fetal position, with bodies folded to fit inside wooden boxes. The air inside the cave carries no scent of decay, but instead a dry, heavy smell of aged wood mixed with damp limestone, a common trait of enclosed ancient burial spaces. Al-Madam is a place where houses are being swallowed by desert sand from the inside out, turning an entire settlement into a hollow shell in the middle of the desert. Sand does not merely surround the buildings, but pours into individual rooms, forming massive dunes that fill living spaces, bedrooms, and sometimes rise to the ceiling or spill out through windows. The strangest detail is that while surrounding houses are buried and corridors erased, the village mosque remains remarkably clean and intact, almost untouched by sand. This contrast is cited by locals as proof that the village is haunted by jinn, believed to have driven people away while avoiding the sacred structure. In reality, Al-Madam was built during the 1970s and 1980s with electricity, paved roads, and solid concrete homes reflecting modern standards of the time. After only about a decade, residents left peacefully but abruptly, with no signs of war or disaster, leaving behind a perfectly abandoned village in the desert. Living root bridges are the only bridges where greater age directly means greater strength. Instead of deteriorating like concrete or steel, their living root systems grow denser and tighter over time, increasing load-bearing capacity. These bridges are not built in months but grown, requiring roughly 15 to 30 years for the roots to become long and strong enough to span a river and support human weight. During flash floods, the roots are not torn out, but behave like elastic ligaments, bending with the current rather than resisting it, which prevents structural failure. Some bridges have existed for more than 500 years and can still support over 50 people at the same time. In the village of Nongriat, the two-level Umxiang double-decker bridge formed because monsoon waters regularly submerged the lower level. Today, residents are actively growing a third level above it, creating a form of vertical expansion that no concrete bridge can achieve without demolishing its entire foundation. Berkeley Pit is an acidic lake located at the edge of Butte, where a lethal industrial environment exists only a few hundred feet from quiet residential neighborhoods. The water does not appear blue, but instead turns dark red or rusty brown due to the intense dissolution of heavy metals such as iron, copper, and cadmium from the surrounding open pit mine walls. The lake's acidity is comparable to stomach acid, with a pH of about 2.5, strong enough to kill most life forms, forcing authorities to install high-powered speakers that broadcast gunshots and predator bird calls to deter migratory birds from landing on the surface. Although it remains one of the most contaminated sites in the region, Berkeley Pit is open as a public viewing site, where visitors access an observation platform overlooking the expanding acidic lake below. Wat Rongkhun completely breaks the familiar image of Thai temples by rejecting gold and red tones, and instead being covered in pure white plaster that represents purification and the Buddha's purity. Inside the main hall, the murals do not depict traditional Jataka tales, but directly feature figures from popular culture, such as Neo from The Matrix, Superman, Doraemon, Kung Fu Panda, and Michael Jackson within a religious setting. The creator of the temple, artist Chalamchai Kositpipat, personally spent more than $1 million on its construction and refused large donations to maintain full creative and ideological control. This contrast intensifies with the gold-covered restroom, where gold symbolizes the physical body and worldly desire, while the temple's white color represents the mind and enlightenment. Before entering the main hall, visitors must cross a pit filled with hundreds of white hands reaching upward in pain, symbolizing desire, pulling humans towards suffering. Once crossing this bridge, visitors are not allowed to turn back, transforming a visit to Wat Rongkhun into a rare, immersive experience within a Buddhist space. Dharavi is one of the largest slums on the planet, yet it sustains an informal economy worth billions of US dollars. Inside this densely packed settlement operate over 5,000 businesses and 15,000 single-room workshops, producing textiles, leather ceramics, and food on a daily basis. Living space is organized into a tight maze of alleys where many passages are so narrow that sunlight never reaches the ground, and only one person can pass at a time. The population density reaches about 715,000 people per square mile, which is 25 times higher than that of New York City. Infrastructure strain is evident with one public toilet serving roughly 1,400 residents, making 45-minute morning waits a routine experience. Even rooms measuring less than 100 square feet can rent for $50 to $100 per month, a cost beyond the reach of most of India's urban poor. Antonov An-225 Maria stunned the world by becoming the only aircraft in history capable of carrying an entire space shuttle on its back, the Buran. Buran could not fly long distances on its own and could not fit inside any aircraft of its era, forcing engineers to invent an unprecedented solution by mounting the entire shuttle on top of an airplane for intercontinental transport. Although the area remains military restricted, these hangars are considered a holy grail for urban explorers who risk night journeys to witness the forgotten Buran and the unfinished remains of the Energia rocket, the most powerful launch vehicle ever built by the Soviet Union, looming silently in the darkness. Mother Shipton's Well is one of the very few places on Earth with the ability to petrify objects, where flowing water does not merely soak items, but completely alters their physical structure. The water here contains an extremely high concentration of minerals, especially calcium carbonate, thick enough to coat surfaces layer by layer and replace the original material within only a few months. When you arrive, you can see rows of teddy bears, clothes, hats, and shoes suspended beneath the constant stream, left there specifically to undergo petrification. While natural cave stalactites take thousands of years to form, a porous teddy bear at this site requires only about 3 to 5 months to become fully stone hard. Among the petrified displays are objects linked to famous figures, including a handbag belonging to writer Agatha Christie and a shoe left by Queen Mary in the year 1923. SS City of Adelaide today resembles a forest rather than a ship, as mangrove trees have grown across its deck after more than a century of being stranded, completely overtaking the rusted steel structure. The vessel was severely damaged by fire in 1912 while unloading cargo, then suffered another accident while being towed for use as a breakwater before becoming permanently grounded in Cockle Bay. During the Second World War, the Australian military used the wreck as a bombing practice target, leaving visible dents and impact scars that are still clearly observable on the metal hull today. At low tide, the calm, shallow water surrounding the wreck creates sharp reflections, making the entire structure appear like an ancient architectural ruin emerging from mud and mangrove roots. Eboliang Sulphur Lake lies within an arid desert landscape, its lemon yellow and deep red waters caused by extremely high concentrations of sulfur and dissolved minerals. In stark contrast to typical life-supporting lakes, this body of water contains no fish, plants, or common microorganisms, as its acidic and sulfur-saturated chemistry turns the entire lake into a lethal environment. This unstable environment has also made the site a challenge for filmmakers, as sudden wind vortices and turbulent air currents between Yardang formations have caused multiple unmanned and aerial vehicles to crash directly into the acidic lake, where recovery is nearly impossible. The ghost ships of the Aral Sea is one of the few places on Earth where you can stand among full-sized seagoing vessels without hearing waves or smelling salt air, surrounded instead by the dry heat of the desert. Before 1960, these ships belonged to a massive fishing fleet that supplied about 1/6 of the total fish production of the entire Soviet Union, when Moynak was still a bustling port city with tens of thousands of workers. As the Aral Sea began to retreat, residents attempted to dig canals and drag the ships along the shrinking shoreline to keep operations alive, but the rate of evaporation proved too extreme, and the vessels were ultimately stranded far inland. The exposed seabed gradually turned into a new desert known as Aralkum. Considered the youngest desert in the world, its surface coated in white salt that reflects intense sunlight. Chukotka is the only place on Earth where humans can simultaneously see yesterday and tomorrow on a single horizon. The regional capital, Anadyr, stands out in the Arctic landscape, with buildings painted in intense colors, used as a psychological response to long winters and monotonous white surroundings. In the early 2000s, under former Governor Roman Abramovich, Soviet-era apartment blocks were repainted in bright hues to counter color deprivation and seasonal depression. After 1991, the collapse of the planned economy and the shutdown of tin and tungsten mines caused Chukotka's population to drop by as much as 2/3, as residents sold their homes simply to afford a one-way flight to Moscow. Standing on the coast of Chukotka on a Monday afternoon, your line of sight reaches a place across the ocean where it is still Sunday afternoon. Mount Omen is the only remaining place in Japan where women have been completely forbidden from entering for more than 1,300 years. Under the ancient Shugendo tradition, women were considered sources of distraction for male ascetics who required absolute mental focus during extreme spiritual training. In early Shinto belief, blood associated with menstruation and childbirth was labeled kagare, or spiritual impurity, making it incompatible with land regarded as perfectly sacred. During training, participants are tied with ropes and suspended head down over cliffs hundreds of feet deep, transforming the ascent into a direct confrontation with life and death. While hanging in mid-air, Yamabushi, dressed entirely in white, questioned the climbers' moral resolve and pulled them back only after shouted affirmations, treating the mountain as a realm of death and the return as rebirth. Haidashin is a mountain region with almost no life, lacking plant and animals, and forming a barren landscape rarely seen even among major deserts. The deep black surface is not coal, but a desert varnish layer rich in iron and manganese, oxidized and accumulated over millions of years. Against this dark rock, pale yellow or white sand streams appear and descend along the slopes like dry waterfalls, creating an extreme visual contrast. The Yaden landforms are intensely sculpted by wind, producing unusual sounds as air moves through rock gaps, sometimes resembling long whistles or distant wailing in the open terrain. Paradoxically, the sand and rock appear pitch black at close range. Yet from a distance, under strong sunlight, the entire mountain range can reflect light and shift toward a silvery gray tone. This combination of harsh conditions, emptiness, and non-terrestrial morphology has led Hakdoksun to be widely regarded as an alien landscape in scientific imagery and science fiction media. Guoliang Tunnel is a tunnel approximately 4,000 feet long, carved entirely by hand through a sheer cliff without machinery or professional engineers. Over 5 years, 13 young men from Guoliang village used hammers, chisels, and crude explosives to cut through the rock meter by meter, turning a vertical mountainside into the village's only escape route. Along the tunnel are 35 window openings cut straight out over a deep ravine, originally used to dump debris during construction, but later serving as natural light sources and direct viewing points over the near vertical cliff face. To build the tunnel, villagers sold livestock and land to purchase tools and explosives, and during the rock-cutting process, some workers fell into the abyss and never returned. For them, Guoliang Tunnel is not merely a road, but the only way to end centuries of isolation and reclaim a connection with the outside world. Aoshima Island is the only place on Earth overtaken by cats. At its peak, the ratio of cats to people reached 36:1, turning the entire island into a living space almost exclusively for cats. By the end of 2024, Aoshima had only about 4 to 5 permanent residents, all elderly, leaving the island with virtually no true human community. Cats were originally brought by fishermen to control rodents damaging fishing nets and boats. But as the fishing industry declined and people gradually left, the cats remained and multiplied without control. The island has no hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, or vending machines, only abandoned houses interwoven with freely roaming cats along narrow paths. To prevent disorder, local authorities restrict visitors to feeding cats only within a designated area, with all random feeding strictly prohibited. Despite having no economic or commercial activity, the dense concentration of cats alone has kept Aoshima on the global tourism map as a phenomenon rarely replicated anywhere else. Capilano Suspension Bridge was first built in 1889. Using only hemp rope and cedar planks. Yet it survived Canada's harsh climate until steel cables replaced it in 1903. Despite its slender appearance and suspended form, the modern bridge is engineered to support a load equivalent to 96 adult elephants at the same time. When many visitors cross simultaneously, the bridge's characteristic vibration can trigger mild dizziness or loss of balance, a psychological and physical effect often referred to as bridge sickness. The experience extends further, through a system of glass and steel walkways anchored directly into sheer rock faces, with sections projecting fully into open space. Shoshone ice caves lie within a dry lava plain, where summer temperatures outside can exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet inside the caves, the temperature remains below freezing throughout the year. This contrast results from the tube-shaped structure and a unique air circulation system in which heavier cold air is trapped beneath thick basalt layers that act as natural insulation, completely blocking summer heat from entering. Because of this mechanism, the ice inside the caves never melts, despite extreme surface conditions, and has persisted continuously for thousands of years, forming an underground ice flow extending for more than 1,000 feet. The cave ceiling consists of honeycomb-patterned basalt that allows rainwater to seep downward and instantly freeze upon contact with the cold air, creating ice formations that grow both downward from the roof and upward from the floor. This rare thermal stability led 19th century settlers and miners to use the caves as a natural cold storage facility, preserving food and supplying ice to nearby towns during the hottest summer months. Maunsell Sea forts once formed an offshore defensive line protecting Britain during World War II, but later became the foundation for the self-proclaimed micronation known as the Principality of Sealand. After the British military withdrew in the 1960s, the forts were quickly abandoned and turned into idle bases for pirate radio stations such as Radio Caroline and Screaming Lord Sutch, broadcasting illegally deep into the United Kingdom. The army forts designed by engineer Guy Maunsell resemble giant three-legged war machines, often compared to the tripods from the novel War of the Worlds. Rather than standing alone, complexes like Red Sands and Shivering Sands were arranged as clusters of 7 steel towers linked by narrow, suspended walkways. And today, boat tours departing from Whitstable or Herne Bay allow visitors to observe these massive structures as they are slowly eroded by salt and time. Covering an area of only about 730,000 square feet, Poveglia Island is believed to have recorded between 100,000 and 160,000 deaths, meaning more than one person died for every square foot of land. This figure emerged over centuries as the island was successively used as a plague quarantine station, a prisoner of war camp, and a psychiatric hospital where anyone showing signs of illness was sent, and most never returned. After death, victims were often cremated in mass burnings at the central square, leading to the belief that more than half of the island's surface today is formed from accumulated human ash and bones across generations. This dense history of death has caused Poveglia to be repeatedly described by international media as one of the most haunted places on Earth. Although the bell in the tower was removed decades ago, fishermen in the Venice Lagoon still claim they hear bell-like sounds while passing the island, which remains under strict control of the Italian government, with no official tourism allowed. New Jayan Iron Cable Bridge takes its name from New Jaknyam because the bridge is wedged between two opposing vertical rock peaks, shaped like a pair of gigantic ox horns. The deep and narrow gap between the cliffs leaves the bridge fully exposed to strong winds, making it a frequent training site for survival instructors teaching students how to control extreme fear of heights. This method of movement reduces the risk of being pushed off by violent winds, demonstrating that the bridge is not merely a river crossing, but a structure that demands genuine survival skills to access and maintain. Yonaguni Island is best known for the Yonaguni Monument, an underwater architectural complex accidentally discovered in 1986 and debated for decades ever since. Beneath the surface, the rock formation displays flat steps, sharply defined right angles close to 90 degrees, and shapes resembling pillars, pathways, and even forms similar to human heads or turtle shells. Some researchers supporting an artificial origin, notably Professor Masaki Kimura, argue that the site contains traces of arches, large standing stones, turtle carvings, and a structure resembling an arena. Under this hypothesis, if the Yonaguni Monument was built by humans, it could only date back to a period of lower sea levels near the end of the last ice age, roughly 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. In contrast, many geologists maintain that the entire formation is the result of natural sandstone fracturing along planar joints shaped over time by strong ocean currents. On land, Yonaguni is also a home to the endemic Atlas moth, the largest moth in the world, with a wingspan reaching about 12 inches and wing patterns that mimic a snake's head to deter predators. Kuba Pedi appears above ground as a forgotten desert landscape marked only by dust, barren soil, and scattered ventilation pipes hinting at something hidden below. Beneath the surface lies a fully functioning underground community, with homes, churches, and even bars carved directly into the rock. Surrounding the town are millions of abandoned opal mining shafts, some plunging dozens of feet deep, forcing authorities to post warnings telling visitors never to step backward, because a single misstep can lead straight into a vertical drop. Due to the lack of vegetation and surface water, Cuba Pedy has almost no birds or wild animals above ground, creating an environment of near absolute stillness. This vast underground housing network also makes the town an ideal refuge for those seeking to disappear, where a person can live for months without surfacing, turning population tracking and management into a persistent challenge with no simple solution.